friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Molly. I'm the founder, owner, operator, and everything for Lager 22, a small nail polish company. Today we're talking makeup, not nail polish. Makeup was my first love, so I want to talk more about it, and I want to kind of start from a place of, you know, kind of catch up with me, my preferences, what I like in makeup. So I'm going to be doing a couple of like ranking videos through brands, and then a couple of just overall favorites in certain categories and things like that. And then I hope to move into more like review kind of things as more products come out and all of that. So today we're going to be ranking all of my Nomad Cosmetics palettes. There's a lot. 12. There's 12. Too many. Didn't realize I had that many until I counted them. But yeah, I love Nomad as a brand overall. They are like travel themed, so each palette has a new destination, which I just think is really fun. And I have a lot of palettes, and we're just gonna kind of talk about them, what I like about them, what I don't like about them, etc. I do kind of want to put a blanket statement out there that none of these palettes have bad formulas like as a whole. I'll kind of mention some that have a couple of dud shades, but as a whole the formulas are always really good, and I kind of know what to expect from them, and they've been very consistent with their quality. So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, so at the very bottom is my Tokyo palette. So the reason that this is last place is very simple. This is a pastel palette. I myself am a pastel essentially, so pastels just don't really work for me in general. This shade range is really pretty. I like that there's the gray row over here, but just pastels in general aren't my jam. They just don't show up very well on me, and I just don't like them in general. I will say also, this is a matte row, and then this is a satin row. I don't like satins. I don't really get the point of satins. I just don't like them. They don't stand out to me. They don't make sense to me. This last row are shimmers, which they are all very pretty, but just as a whole, I don't use this palette a whole lot. All right, next up is the, I really don't want to say it wrong, Cartagena. I don't know, geography isn't my jam. Also Spanish, not my jam. This is a very pretty palette. However, there's not like any deep shade at all. This pink right here is the deepest, and it's a shimmer. Again, quality is great, blah, blah, blah. And I like how this is more of an orange row, this is more of a red, and this is more of a pink. I feel like a lot of these colors are too similar to be in a palette though. I feel like there's a lot of redundancy in this lineup, which upsets me because I like the theming of it, and I love using those colors, but I just feel like this could have been executed a little bit better. And it doesn't help that there's no like proper deep shade. I really enjoy a deep shade when using any palette and doing any kind of look, and this just isn't very cohesive to me. It just doesn't, you know, make me write home or anything. All right, next up is America's Parks. I love the theming of this. I love that there's like little stamps of all the parks. I think that's so cute. I want to love this so bad. I really want to. I love how there's always new imprints on each shadow from Nomad. I love these especially. I think the little like marbled shimmers are fun. However, in a 15 pan palette, only 6 shades are mattes. I am a matte girly. I prefer mattes over shimmers. And it doesn't help that a lot of these shimmers are very neutral leaning, like when you swirl them all together and whatever. I wish I liked it more. I wish it worked for me a little bit better. This brown and then the purple, those are the 2 deepest shades, and again, they aren't very deep, so they don't get much use, or if they do, I have to pull out another palette to use another color because they just don't get the job done well enough for me. Again, quality, great and fine. It's just the colors, and it makes me so sad because I love this theme. So cute. Okay, next up is the newest release, the Okavango. I am not a huge neutral person. I prefer colors. If this did not have the green row, I would not have bought it. I also want to just say this shade right here being called like the zebra, migrating zebras, is perfect and genius, and I love that. I actually really like this. I did a look the other day with it. I think I'm actually wearing it in my last video where I had some green on the inner third and then more orangey and then more of the deep brown. And I really loved it. I thought it looked really good. I do really enjoy that it's separated again by colors. So this is more of the orangey neutral greens and then the cool tone neutrals down here. I appreciate that it's majority mattes. My main issue though is that the deep shades don't perform like typical Nomad shadows do for me. I don't know if I just got a bad one or what, but like this shade right here and this black, they both, like I can pack it on, but then they blend out. So then I have to do like 3 layers of those shades, which is just a little irritating. And I know that Nomad is capable of better, so I don't know what happened with those two. Yeah, I think that the variety of shimmers is good for the most part. I think those two are like barely different enough to have both, those two shimmers. I really enjoy it. Also, all the imprints on this one are like little paw prints and stuff, which I just think is so cute. I love this. I think they did a great job with turning a safari into a neutral palette. I think that's genius, and I just think it works really well. Okay, so next is the Iceland Fire and Ice palette. This one I think is just really interesting from the get-go to look at. I think the blues over here and then having that warm row or column, and then it gets a little funky as you go on. This matte is beautiful. This matte is beautiful. These two shimmers up here look really fun with the grays right there. I love just in general that shade of orange. Again, great quality. My issue though is that it's just the color story doesn't do all that much for me. I feel like it's hard to mix and match a little bit with this one. I think this dark matte makes sense for the blues over here, but not so much with the yellow and orange. That is a personal thing though, so whatever. You can feel differently if you want to, that's okay. I think overall, it's great packaging. I like how we have the water and then the fire on the inside here. I think that's really creative and fun. It's just like the color story just isn't super, doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but that's a me problem. Quality, again, still great. Okay, next we have Haunted Europe, and I love the like little switcheroo packaging. That's very fun. So this one I really love because it's Halloween themed. Who doesn't love Halloween? My issue with this one, like it being in the middle, is that it's so neutral. It's so neutral. And I get most people like neutrals, completely understandable. It's just not a me thing. The darker mattes over here are great. However, this matte and then this matte are a little bit chalky and dry, which I just know is not typical for Nomad shadows. It feels like a lot of them you have to be like very intentional about what colors you're using, where you're putting them, because it doesn't feel like they combine very well with the others. And by that I mean the mattes, which also this is what I'm wearing today. I also don't feel like those two shades were necessary to have both. I don't know, it's very cute and it's really fun, and I like Batty Bean, I think, was the one that said like this half is a pumpkin patch and then this half is like a cemetery situation, which is just a nice little visual to have. So I like being able to break it up that way. I don't know, it's just a little too neutral for me. And I'm hoping that their Halloween palette this year isn't that way at all. Okay, we're over halfway through, I think. So this is the Florence palette. Not Florence, sorry, Provence palette. This is really fun and really springy to me. I really enjoy these colors together. I like that this gray row is here because it doesn't feel like that's typical. It doesn't feel like somebody has done that before, correct me if I'm wrong. It just feels a little out of place and I like it. I think it adds a lot of uniqueness to the palette. This is the only row of shimmers, so 2/3 of the palette are matte, which I love. And I really enjoy that this purple row is a little bit more muted. I think that is just fun. I love like a grayed out purple. I think it's such a pretty color, and they captured that really well here. I love a good pink and red combination. I think the combinations are really pretty, that just the whole color story in general is really nice. But I think it's also a little strange that the only dark matte that we have is this gray, because the gray, I just don't love it with these 3 colors all the time, if that makes sense. They just don't combine super well. Again though, packaging, so pretty. Okay, next is the only 9 pan that I have from them. This is the Santa's Village situation. This was from last Christmas. I almost didn't get this, and let me tell you, I am so happy that I did. I've heard so many people say like, this is not their best palette. To each their own. I really enjoy this. The mattes, so there's 4 mattes, the like north, south, east, and west situation. I really like them. The only thing that I would have done differently is make this green a little bit brighter to kind of match the red, because you can bring the red and then use this gray down here to kind of make it a little vampier, and I think that works really well. But this green is just really, really dark from the get-go, so I think if it was a little bit brighter, it could have been a little better. These 4 shimmers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, are more of a topper situation, and they aren't as easy to pick up on a brush when you put them on your eyes. That's not an issue for me. I use my fingers usually, but that is what I've heard like most people's issue is. But I love a good topper. I love toppers so much, and I think these are just so beautiful. This one down here, this green one, is a little bit more pigmented, so it's not really a topper, but it's still so pretty. I really love this one. I would love to see them do more 9 pans actually. I think it's kind of getting overlooked. I've only heard of them doing them for holiday, but I think they do it really well. All right, this last big one is the Love and Death Verona palette. I love this artwork. I love the kind of like holographic film on top. I love the contrasting red and blue. What I don't love is that it does this situation, so then you have 2 mirrors. I fully understand what they were trying to do. It's not my jam. I would rather open it up like the Haunted Europe one, just because it feels a little floppy and flimsy if I want to use both sides, you know what I mean? Because then if you move it too much, this mirror is gonna flap or the other mirror is gonna flap, and then it's just a thing. Whatever, maybe that's a me problem, very possible. So let's see. I love that it's split half and half. I think that was really, really smart, and I love the death side. I think this on its own would be a great color story, a great palette. The love side though, I feel is a little too similar. Like, I don't feel like we needed these 2 and this one. I feel like we could have gotten away with just one. I do like that there's this dark red, or sorry, the bright red, a dark red, and then this very light pink. I think that's great, but I think if we could have even gotten as dark as this one on the love side, then it would have been like absolute perfection. I don't know, I really love this. I love the theming. I think they were just so genius to do this. Again, quality is great. This one is a very, very pretty topper shade. So is this one. It kind of has a gray base, which is really fun. This one also has a gray base, but it's more of a purple shimmer. I really enjoy this palette. Also having this black is very helpful. I don't like a black in every single palette because then that just gets crazy redundant, but yeah, I love this. This blue is very impactful. I was really sad when they didn't make that one a single. It's a really, really pretty one, and I would absolutely recommend it. We're getting down to the top 3 now, y'all. Okay, this one is Royal Europe. So this one is like all jewel tones for these top two, and then this last row are all multi-chromes. This is actually my first experience with multi-chromes, and I think they're really nice. I also just love jewel tones. I love deeper colors, and this hits the mark, you know? Again, monochromatic columns here and there, whatever. It makes sense. It's easy to read, and I appreciate that sometimes. I just really like this one. It just makes sense for me. I don't feel like this purple makes the most sense, but I do understand that they wanted all of them to be multi-chrome, so gotta do what you gotta do, and there's only so many different multi-chrome pigments. I know that from my nail polish stuff, but I think they did really well with this. I like that there's also even a neutral row if that's something that, you know, interests you. I just think it was really smart. I love the colors. I'm a jewel tone person, and yeah, it's great. All right, in second place we have Hudson Valley. This is the most perfect fall palette anybody could ever make. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Again, monochromatic columns, love it. There's only these 3 shimmers. Again, I love it. All the imprints are super fun on this one too. We have hikers, and then like farm to table, and there's Oktoberfest and pumpkins and apple cider. It's so cute. I really like these. These are more of a just straight shimmer though. They're not shifty at all. Fine by me, just in case that's important. But I just really love these tones. I feel like this might be their best quality palette. The mattes are ridiculous. That's kind of all I have to say. I think that's so beautiful. All right, and in first place we have the Snow Whistler Lodge. Look at this. I love this palette so much. This dark green, this dark blue, there's a black in here. Just the whole sage row in general. This is a topper that has like the pink shift to it, and a translucent base. I love these. Also the names are like all puns. So there's Up to Snow Good and So a Moose and Snowmad, and it's just so fun and so cute. I can't believe that I chose a cool tone palette as my tip top, but the pigment in this, the quality of this, the color story of this is just so fun. I will say I wish there was more to kind of go off of this red, I think, but that's the only thing I have to say to it. I mean, this is such a beautiful palette. I love Nomad as a whole, and I can't wait to see what else they do this year. That's kind of all I've got for this time, so I'll see you next time with who knows what. Thanks for watching. Bye.